The one problem with recording on my Read U2, aka my BrailleSense U2, is the way you hit the record button and it doesn't immediately record. It slowly fades in, starts recording, and you end up cutting yourself off. Do I want to keep dealing with that, or do I want to use something that doesn't have that problem but is a little bit harder to transfer files back and forth from? And not very important problems of a content creator, but still problems. I mean, they're important to me, but in the long run, in the big picture, they really don't matter. But they matter. Well, I'll figure it out. You know what I'm thinking? I love my Read U2, always and forever, but I wonder if I'm going to keep working with him, or am I going to go back to these other recorders and just make it work? You know, I bet if I tried, I might just go on a place like Amazon and find a USB to USB adapter. I'm not quite sure how to describe it, but I bet I could find a thing that I could like connect that cord to a USB, or stick the USB thing in this cord, and it would make a more solid connection, because I could plug that cord that's connected to this little dongle thing, or whatever you'd call it, that's connected to my recorder, my audio vlogging camera that I used to use, because I've still got it. I just stopped using it when connecting those recorders to the computer or the U2 or the whatever became difficult, because every time I connected it, it connected and then the connection wouldn't last. But what if I had a go-between between the computer and the recorder that said, look, you're staying connected until you're like literally pulled out. It just might exist. I don't know, because I haven't looked. Nothing's more important to me right now than getting my queen-size bed. I'm just choosing to believe that a queen-size bed would fit in this room. I'm going to get the measurements just to make sure, but I bet it would fit. I'll find out for sure a week from tomorrow, because that's when I finally have a couple of guys pulling this dresser out of here, and one of those guys is the same one who took me to the mattress store last week, and he's got the measurements, and he's going to measure the room and see if there's room in the place for those measurements, but I'm pretty sure there is. When this big honkin' dresser gets out of here, and once they haul away this twin bed that's taking up space but not big enough for me. I mean, it's taking up space because it's what I'm sleeping on right now, and I'm making it work, but like I've decided within the past week that, I think I've talked to you about this already, I'm not financing it. I'm pulling together the money to pay for it outright, but that is the expense behind which pretty much everything else is standing right now. I'm getting that bed as soon as I can. I'm like not willing to spend another night longer than I have to on this small ass twin bed. Look, things change over time, and if you're in a situation that worked 10, 20 years ago but doesn't work now, even worked last year but doesn't work now, don't force yourself to suffer just because it's what you have. Find a way to get something better. If you know you're not happy, look for better. And I know there was a time not that long ago when I would hear people say that, And I'd be like, that's easy for you to say, and then I'd come up with a reason why that would work for anyone else, but not me. You know, it's taken a long time to realize that I don't need Auntie's permission, or I don't need anyone's permission to do what works best for me. Like this bed thing. I haven't even told them I'm getting it. I don't know if I'm gonna tell them I'm getting it. They might find out if and when they come into my room and they're like, oh, that's a new bed, isn't it? And I'll be like, yeah, that twin just wasn't working for me anymore. They don't have to be involved. They could be involved, but do I want them to be involved? I don't know. And I do know that if they don't agree with this decision, I don't want to hear it. They don't have to get it if they don't want to. If that's what works for them, that's great. It doesn't work for me. End of discussion. I won't live like this anymore. Not any longer than I have to. So, anything that might help me use my other vlogging camera and keep it connected to the computer is in line behind the bed. But what do you want to bet? I'll find something like that and it's like $10. I bet I could afford both. Hi everyone. You know, this whole video, or at least this section of the video, is going to end up being about what equipment I use, which means nothing to maybe the majority of the majority of people who watch. It's like a YouTuber going into all the details about what cameras and what lighting they use to people who may or may not care. Out of curiosity, I might listen to the camera section, but when they get into how do they make their videos look so perfect and how do they, I'm like, I don't give a fuck. But anyway, a little update on what I use. You know, like I say, I've been trying the U2 for a video or two. The last video I used, I started with the Victor, but then I don't know if anyone noticed, I did end up going to the Reed before it was all over. And Reed, I adore you, baby, but the vlogging camera part of you just, I don't think it's gonna work. He spends 5-6 seconds trying to kick on. I hit the record button. I hit the record button again to confirm that I do in fact want to start the recording, and then I can't just start talking because he spends a good 6 seconds, I don't know what he's doing, processing the request, and then finally he starts recording. Whereas with the Olympus recorder that I was using as my vlogging camera before, there's a little bit of a lag as well, but that's about 2 seconds. And with a new audio recorder that's now on the market that is not terribly expensive, I could get it. I have the money, or could get the money fairly quickly to get one. There's no reason why I shouldn't get one, except that can take a number and stand right behind getting a bed and maybe getting another piece or two of furniture. I haven't gone into a lot of thought about that, but really it's about out with the old that worked 20 years ago and in with the new. It's about making it the home that, it's about making it my home. It's about making it the home that I want to live in because I made it happen. Not the home that I live in and is working but not fully what I want because I came about it out of desperation. Like, I'm a new person. in some ways, I so appreciate the help I got 20 years ago, but like I said, I want to upgrade, and asking for help in other ways or working to get things my own ways is what I'm doing right now. I could do a whole separate video about that, I guess. Maybe one day I will, but the point is, it's about getting a suitable bed for me, assuming one can fit in this room, and maybe upgrading some furniture, getting rid of some old stuff, bringing in some stuff that I have gone to the furniture store, experienced for myself, know that that's what I want, and then financed it. The main thing is getting a bed right now, and then we'll see how many other pieces of furniture I need. But the point is, that's my priority at the moment. And getting a new vlogging camera is down the list. So I won't be getting a new, it's called a Zoom recorder. I guess Zoom recorders have existed for a long time. I don't mean Zoom like the video recording / meeting app. It's Zoom. I guess there's a brand of recorder called Zoom. And it's existed for a long time, but apparently they were largely too altogether inaccessible for people who could not see. But I guess they've evolved now. The makers of Zoom recorders realize that there's a whole section of people who have no ability to use their stuff, or little ability to use their stuff, very little ability to use their stuff, because none of it talks. So they said, you know what, let's do something about that. And they've released a few recorders. And I read about them, thought about getting one, and then last week I became aware of what it's like to lie down on a bed that's actually wide enough to fit my whole body, and I was like, okay, that's the priority. Excuse me. Okay, I had work chats coming in. I think they were all from a different project than the one I'm on right now. Unfortunately, it is still one that I have to do, but I'm not even going to touch it until next week. Because I'm in the middle of something that has to be done before, the report's due tomorrow, and that's my priority. As getting a new bed and a bedroom that I actually want to live in, and want to sleep in, and I don't know about want to live in, but want to sleep in, and want to spend however much time I end up spending in my bedroom is my priority over getting a new vlogging camera. But I did find some of those extensions that you could stick the USB of an Olympus recorder, or anything else for that matter, into the one of the USB ends of this thing, and then plug the other end into the computer, and it should hold the connection, maintain the connection, make it so that every time the thing moves in the least, for whatever reason, it does not stop reading, which would make it possible for me to go back to that vlogging camera, and that's what I think I'm going to do. And I might even switch to a Zoom when, I'm going to say when, not if, I get one, and when I get one, and if I decide that that's what I want. It sounds like a great recorder, it really does. But I just think what I have now could work if I could find a way to connect it to a computer without it immediately somehow being rendered not really in the computer. Like physically it's in the computer, but it won't maintain the connection long enough to transfer anything. But Reed, as much as I love him, he really, unless I want to do just a sit-down video or something, when it comes to a vlog, he's not bad, but I am not gonna want to keep dealing with cutting myself off through like a sentence or a sentence and a half or half of a long sentence or whatever, because I'm like, record, wait a few minutes. Okay, everybody, let's move on. And really, I waited a few seconds, but I didn't wait enough seconds. And I started talking before he started recording. No, that's not how this is gonna keep going. I'm not saying I'll never use Reed again. I might use him from time to time, but my main vlogging recorder, he just is not. He probably will be until I can get these basically USB extension cords that will, or USB stabilizers maybe. They're really cheap. I could just check out my cart right now, but I don't think I'm going to just yet. Let me find one or two other things that I want to throw in my cart, and then I'll check it out. Is there such a thing as checking out a cart that's too cheap? If there is, I think my cart now kind of borders on that. So, yeah, I'm gonna find another thing or two that I want to check out and then proceed to check out. But, so, yeah. Read U2, this has been good, but not good enough. And I think on that note, I'm going to end this section of video and figure out how long it's going to be. I can't believe after editing this, it comes out to 16 minutes. I guess I can just sit here and ramble. But I'm just going to call that the end of this video. I guess this video is going to be about... it's going to be about how my YouTube recording style is going to evolve. I'm going to keep Reed as my recorder for now, or I might alternate between Reed and Victor until I can get those USB extenders and then, or USB stabilizers rather. They're not extenders so much. I mean, they are, but I'm getting them because I need something to hold the connection better than these things are doing on their own. But the point is, I'm going to use Reed U2 and or Victor to record until I get those and can go back to the Olympus. And eventually I might get a Zoom. But in the meantime, that's not even the beginning of a video. This is the whole video. Thank you for watching. I hope this wasn't too boring for you. And I'll talk to you in the next video. Bye.